I'm Jason with the All Things Open team. I'm here with Seth. Please introduce yourself to the ATO community.
Hey everybody, I'm Seth Larson. My pronouns are he, him. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Work at the Python Software Foundation as the security developer in residence. I'm also a fellow of the PSF, and I maintain a ton of open source projects, things like Eurolib 3 and requests and other stuff with the networking and security space.
I think we're going to get into some of those details.
Sweet.
Well, let's jump right into the security. What should people know about the intersection of open source and security?
Yeah, I think security problems are a lot of problems that we've seen before. Sustainability problems, it tends to be the one that keeps on coming up. Security and sustainability are just completely linked. They're connected, right? A lot of the things that you need for a secure open source project are the same things that you need for a sustainable open source project. You need people that are there, people that are able to respond to issues like security reports, people that are able to implement the latest best practices, and people that are able to kind of do more work than just keeping up, right? Because it's more than that. It's more than just keeping up.
But security is a pretty big topic, so is there anything else you want to add in there? I mean, this is kind of your life, right? Your daily
It really is. Yeah, exactly. I think the biggest thing is that I think that from like I think the biggest thing is that from a technological perspective, we're almost there. Like we're not very far off. The problems are all social. It's all stuff like who is going to do the work? How is it going to get funded? Who's going to be the one paying? All of these questions are social or, about governance or about policy, like who should be doing what. And those problems are like way harder than the technological problems. Things like how do we get every single open source project to adopt a security policy? Like that is already a super, super hard problem, something that like thousands of people need to take an individual action. So that's the real difficulty.
Yeah, it sounds simple at a high level, but when you get to the details, it gets a little
boots on the ground is way harder.
Well, since you're the maintainer of Eurolib 3, can you tell us what it is and what problem does it solve?
Yeah, so it's an HTTP client library, and so it is able to speak the language of the internet, the language of the web, and what people use it for. So before, it was previously used for like the transition between Python 2 and Python 3, providing people an easy package that they can use for both. But obviously now that Python 2 is thankfully going into the distance, people use this for things like the retries, the cross-origin redirects, the really good security defaults, and things like performance, and just all the other reasons why you'd use a HTTP client library.
Cool. What's involved with being a security developer in residence at the Python Software Foundation?
Hey, this is Todd with All Things Open. Thank you so much for watching. We truly appreciate it. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button. We've got a lot of new content coming we think you're going to be interested in. One final favor, be sure to go to allthingsopen.org to see everything that we do. Back to the video.
Yeah, the surprising thing is it's a really social job. Like I am talking to people all the time from all the different places, like security working groups, other foundations. I'm talking to like individual maintainers. I'm doing a lot of standards work, so that's all about consensus and consensus with people that aren't in the Python ecosystem, things like Linux distros and all of that. So it's a lot of talking to people. I also try to be very public with my work because I think that if we're going to make this investment into security and how this happens at an ecosystem level, it makes sense to kind of publish a workbook so that people that end up getting to do this work in the future are able to not start from the ground like maybe me and some other foundations are doing right now.
I love it. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips, best practices, or new tools you've been using lately that you can share with the ATO community?
Yeah, best practices are, I would really recommend everyone who's listening to this, I think at a baseline level, think that open source is really, really important. And so at an individual level, it can sometimes feel tough to be like, oh, how do I help solve the sustainability problem, right? Every individual person can take action. And even if you are not sure if it's going to get shot down or a no, ask your employer if you can contribute back to open source, even if it's just tiny stuff like providing a patch, providing a review. And I would also recommend looking towards smaller projects as opposed to just focusing on the larger ones. Obviously, the large projects are always top of mind, but those small projects need just like maybe less help, but they are getting so much less help from people because there's no visibility. So look deep into your supply chain and think about those smaller projects too when you're considering which projects to contribute to.
Sounds great. Good advice. All right, Seth, thanks for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.